Jersey Joe Walcott is a story of a journeyman that everyone wrote off, but he eventually succeeded in glory. Arnold Cream, also known as Jersey Joe Walcott, took his name from his childhood idol boxer, Joe Walcott, who was a legend from the Barbados. His influence probably came from his father, who immigrated from the island of St. Thomas. Jersey Joe Walcott faced tragedy at the age of 15. His father passed away. This led him to quit school and work at a suit factory to support his 11 siblings. September 9, 1930 was his debut. Jersey Joe was 16 at the time. He fought as a welterweight. It was him versus the world. Jersey Joe's first year as a boxer was one of determination and perseverance. He had a series of losses against notable boxers such as Tiger Jack Fox and Abe Simmons. Jersey Joe put his career at a stop since it was the start of the Second World War. He did not fight for 4 years. He also did not enlist in the war. Many of his competitors participated in the war, so there was no one really to fight. Many thought Jersey Joe's career was over after the war. At the first half of Jersey Joe's career, he was being used. He was dealing with crooked managers, broken promises, and the misfortune of losses. At this time, Jersey Joe was poor. His boxing career was slowly sliding away from him. At the time, he was working odd jobs. He was hauling garbage for a living and also working at a shipyard. He had 6 children to maintain, and no manager wanted to represent him, mostly due to his age. Vic Marcello convinced Walcott to get back in the fighting game. Vic Marcello convinced Felix Petruccio to represent Walcott as his manager. In return, they bought call for the Walcott family through the winter. In this way, Walcott can only focus on boxing. Under Petruccio's leadership, Walcott would strive. Joe got victory against Joe Baskey, Jimmy Bivens, and Joe Maxim. This gave him a shot to the title. Jersey Joe Walcott would step up on his biggest challenge yet. He had to fight the beloved American fighter, Joe Louis. Joe Louis gave Jersey Joe Walcott a match, but Jersey Joe did not give up. He kept on fighting Joe Louis, knocking him down twice in the first 4 rounds. For once, the underdog had a chance. Walcott used his swift movements to continue to punish Joe Louis in the ring. Joe did not look back. He was not going to let a journeyman take his crown. It came to the last seconds for the judges to make a decision. By the end, it was Joe Louis' hands that was raised.
The winner by majority vote and still the heavyweight champion of the world, Joe Louis.
Many in the crowd and some of the judges did not like this decision.
If you remember back in December, well, just remember this, life speaks louder than words.
Many had Jersey Joe winning this fight. Jersey Joe demanded a rematch, and Joe Louis gave it to him. The second fight would be different. Joe Louis wanted to prove a point. Although he was Asian, he was still the king of the ring. The fight started where it left off. Walcott got a knockout in the 3rd round.
you see the third straight knockdown that Joe Walcott has scored over Joe Louis in their 2 fights.
It was shortly looking like the first fight. Walcott kept moving in methodical ways and throwing effective counters. Like the first fight, Walcott was leading in points. With the feeling of loss in the air, Louis had to rely on the KO to retain his belt. Walcott started to become cocky by the 11th round. His corner warned them against coming to blows with Joe Louis. Walcott let his guard down, and the Braun Bomber would deliver. He threw a haymaker that echoed through the stadium. With this win, Joe Louis put his doubters to silence.
I'd like to say again that I retired. Tonight was my last fight. Thank you very much.
Many thought that Jersey Joe Walcott got lucky. He got lucky against Joe Louis, fighting such a close match. Many wrote him off, and he regained his label as a journeyman, striving to chase that world champion. A new kid in town showed up to the boxing scene. Many labeled him as the best, as he defeated Joe Louis. Ezzard was quick and methodical. Walcott viewed Ezzard as the perfect opponent to finally win the belt. Sadly, Ezzard would beat Jersey Joe Walcott. Ezzard was clearly the best fighter that night. Ultimately, it came down to 15 rounds, and Ezzard won the fight.
Champion of the world, Jersey Joe.
2 defeats to the title did not stop Jersey Joe Walcott. Joe managed to win 4 out of his last fight after the Ezzard defeat, including one with future light heavyweight champion Harold Johnson. Ezzard granted Walcott a rematch after this achievement. Charles managed to beat him again convincingly in the rematch by decision. The second match was almost the same. Ezzard was too fast, too quick, and dominated much of the fight. The tide started to change for Joe. Instead of hanging his glove at a veteran age, he decided to take on the challenge in fighting the Cincinnati Cobra.
Then the challenger from Merchantville, New Jersey, Joe Walcott, followed by manager Felix Bocchicchio.
Walcott was very deceitful with his movements. A powerful left to the jaw sent Charles to the floor.
With every ounce of remaining energy, Charles attempts to beat the 10 count. And it's all over. At 55 seconds of the 7th round, Ezzard Charles sheds his crown, and Jersey Joe Walcott becomes heavyweight champion of the world in one of the most stunning upsets of ring history.
This achievement made Jersey Joe the oldest heavyweight champion at the time, at 37 years old. Walcott fought Ezzard again. To the surprise of many, he managed to defend his title. This time, Walcott managed to win by decision in 15 rounds. He managed to retain his dream and move on to the next opponent.
So I want to go down on record as saying that you were the hottest puncher I ever fought, and the night that I fought you, I believe you were the greatest. Your punches were strong and powerful. You were moving around so good.
The next match would be his toughest, Rocky Marciano. Rocky Marciano called out Jersey Joe Walcott to a fight. Walcott accepted the challenge and trained very hard. To many surprise, Walcott knocked out the young boxer in the first round with a left hook.
First round, he seems dazed. Up the count of 3.
Walcott was leading in points in this grueling battle. Rocky, knowing this, he knew that he had to win by KO. Rocky managed to achieve this in the 13th round with a devastating right hook and a powerful left follow-up. This powerful punch ended the fight. Walcott collapsed to the mat with his left arm hanging over the ropes, slowly sinking to the canvas, where he was counted out.
And Jersey Joe is still on the deck.
Rocky granted Walcott a rematch, but this time, Rocky dominated the fight. The first round was a knockout. The young boxer reclaimed the belt. It was a quick fight. This made Walcott realize that he had to retire.
It's all over and the fight's over. Jersey Joe gloves are on the canvas at 10 according to the rules. That's a knockout.
Walcott had a successful life after boxing. He started in the movie The Harder They Fall. In 1965, he famously refereed the Ali vs. Liston fight. This would be the last match that he was refereed due to his controversial decision. He also became sheriff in his hometown in Camden, Jersey. This made him the first African American sheriff to serve Camden County. Walcott was finally inducted in the International Boxing Hall of Fame in Canastota, New York. Jersey Joe would die at the age of 80 due to complications of diabetes. He is buried at Sunset Memorial Park in his hometown of New Jersey. Jersey Joe is regarded as one of the best boxers of the 1940s, not only for all the success that I mentioned. He learned to uplift himself from his failures and turned it to something beautiful. He overcame many obstacles, but most importantly, he believed in himself.